This is the Funhang Electric Bike for adults, and I picked it up after one too many sweaty climbs on my daily route. I wanted something with real shove on hills without paying boutique money, and I was curious whether a budget-friendly, high-torque e-bike could actually hold up for regular commuting and weekend rides. I've been riding it for a while now, tweaking little things, living with it day to day, and I've got a pretty clear picture of where it shines and where it asks for patience. In its lane, this bike aims straight at value per performance. It's not the lightest, it's not trying to be a fancy trail machine with premium components, and it doesn't pretend to be. It's a sturdy, steel hardtail that trades finesse for muscle. If you're a commuter, a returning rider, or someone who needs help on hills and doesn't want to drop big money, that's who this is for. I went in skeptical, because I've seen a lot of flashy listings before, but the safety certifications and the feature set made me curious enough to roll the dice. The first ride told me a lot. The motor hits harder than I expected. There's a little delay when the pedal assist engages, then it comes on with a noticeable push. It's not subtle or super refined. It's more like, okay, you're pedaling, here's the power. On flat sections, it gets up to speed quickly and holds it without drama. On hills, that's where it earns its keep. I have one steep block I used to dread on my old commuter. With this Funhang, I click up the assist, give a light pedal or a twist of the throttle, and it just goes. The sound is a soft electric whine, and the feel is this steady shove that makes me grin every time. The bike itself feels planted. Being steel and not featherweight, it tracks straight and doesn't get knocked around by cracks or wind the way some lighter bikes do. The front fork is basic, but takes the edge off potholes and curb cuts. I lock it out on smoother roads to keep things firm under braking, and it does exactly what I expect. If you hammer down a choppy path, it can feel bouncy, but for city streets, pads, and light trails, it's fine. Braking and shifting are where you can tell this is a budget-focused setup. Out of the box, my brakes squealed and needed some centering. After a short bed-in and a few tweaks, they're adequate. Not the feel of hydraulic brakes, but they stop the bike reliably as long as I plan ahead. The 21-speed drivetrain is old school but useful. I use the low gears on steeper grades, so I'm not asking the motor to do everything, and that helps stretch the battery. Shifts are okay once dialed, though I check table tension now and then. If you're allergic to minor tinkering, you might find that annoying. For me, it's part of owning an e-bike in this price range. Comfort surprised me in a good way. The adjustable stem and seat made it easy to get an upright position for commuting. I'm around average height and had no trouble dialing in my FIC. The stock saddle isn't my favorite. It got me through early rides, but I swapped to a more cushioned seat and that made a big difference on longer trips. The grips are fine, nothing special. The half-twist throttle, though, is fantastic if you've got wrist or thumb pain and don't love thumb throttles. I can rest my hand and roll in power when I need it. Battery life depends entirely on how I ride. If I baby it in lower assist and actually pedal, I can cover a respectable distance without worry. On my regular workday loop, which is a mix of neighborhood hills and flats, I come home with plenty left. On days when I'm having fun and riding fast with lots of throttle, the range drops, and I plan a shorter loop. The battery pops out easily for charging inside. I really like that I can lock it in place, and I appreciate that it has safety certifications. The display is simple and readable. I switched the units to MPH and tweaked the start strength to make the initial surge a bit calmer. One quirk, the throttle speed is linked to the assist level, so if I'm on a low assist, the throttle won't give me full speed. I get why it's there, but sometimes I wish I could keep assist low and still tap full throttle for a quick pass. As for the included bits, the fenders actually matter more than I expected. They do a solid job of keeping wheel spray off my back. The headlight is fine for being seen and for lit streets, though I added a brighter handlebar light for dark paths. The horn is loud. It gets drivers' attention, which is what I want in traffic. Tires were okay on pavement and packed paths. After picking up a small puncture, I switched to more puncture-resistant rubber and instantly felt more confident leaning into corners. Putting it together was straightforward. It arrived mostly assembled. I mounted the front wheel, bars, and pedals, and adjusted the brakes. The included tools got it done, though I used my own for better leverage. It's hefty lifting it out of the box, and if you live upstairs, that could be a deal breaker. On the road, the weight gives it a stable feel. Off the bike, you notice it every time you carry or hang it. Compared to my older commuter e-bike, which had a smaller motor and was lighter, this Funhang is a different personality. My old bike felt smoother off the line, but ran out of breath on hills and made me grind up with a red face. This one just flattens climbs. The trade-off is refinement and weight. Against higher-end mid-drive bikes I've tried, those definitely feel more polished, with better brakes and a more natural response. But they cost a lot more, and on city pavement, The Funhang's raw torque feels just as quick to everyday speeds. If your riding is mostly roads, paths, and short grass or gravel, you get most of the experience you want without paying extra for boutique names. Value-wise, I think it hits the brief as long as you know what you're getting. You're buying a strong motor, a sturdy steel frame, and a practical kit with fenders, lights, and a removable battery. You're not buying featherweight components or top-tier brakes. Expect to do a couple of small adjustments in the first weeks, and you'll be fine. I've had no issues with the frame or the electronics. It has the safety certifications that matter to me, which gave me confidence charging it at home. I did upgrade the saddle and eventually swapped brake pads and tires, but I would have done that on a lot of bikes in this range anyway. Who I think will love this? Anyone with hills on their route who wants effortless climbing, commuters who want a solid daily ride with enough pep to keep up with traffic on neighborhood streets, and riders who aren't afraid to turn an Allen key now and then. Who might not love it? Folks who need to carry a bike upstairs regularly, or who want a super refined, no-tweaks ownership experience and are willing to pay premium dollars for it. If I had to give a simple verdict, I'd say it's worth it for the torque, the stable ride, and the practicality. It's honest about what it is. It gets me to work faster, it makes weekend rides more fun, and it's been reliable. I respect a bike that delivers on the stuff that matters day to day. If you have questions about settings, range, or what upgrades made the biggest difference, drop them below. I'm happy to share what worked for me and what I'd skip. If this video helped, consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment with what e-bike you're riding now or thinking about.